to the roots and the new school bonds. Pull up a chair, we'll expand your minds. It's the Knights Table, let's ride the wave. Where hip-hop's history is deeply engraved. From the old to the new, watch the torch flame. This is where the culture earns its name.
Welcome back to the Knights Table. Pull up a seat and enjoy the ride.
On our last episode, Kiki Smith gave us a rundown on Brazil.
David Corley gave us his insight on reintegration back to normal life.
Benton King stopped by and gave us some mental health help.
And then Miguel's blessed us with the new release of Nightlife.
Since we explored life hurdles in our last episode and how to overcome them, this episode we want to explore how to maximize effectiveness.
We'll be talking to my father, Kogi Naidoo, and he'll tell us a little bit about his experience moving from the U.S. to Ecuador.
Heybert Flex joined us to give us his sight on how he maximized effectiveness.
From there, we'll be talking to Tom Kotlaric, who'll speak to us about how meditation can help us in different ways.
In the music segment, we have a song called We Did It On Our Own. Me and Green get into how we did a few things on our own and how we overcame a few issues.
For this episode of What in the World, we give our favorite traveler, Kiki Smith, a break, and we are joined by my father, Kogi Naidoo. Since we were down in Brazil and he made the move to Ecuador, we thought, why not give you an expat's insight into South America? All the details of life in Cuenca, from the primary factors that drew him down there to the steps he took to make his transition smooth. And for anyone out there dreaming of international living, he'll even reveal some things he wished he'd known before moving. Tell us the steps you took before moving to Ecuador that eased your transition.
I think the best thing for anybody to do is to research international living and then decide on where you really want to go. We decided on Ecuador. And then second, which is very important, is to make trips out to the country you are choosing. Make sure that you are familiar with the place and you can decide on a city before you establish roots.
What were the primary factors that made you choose Cuenca as your destination?
Healthcare was primary. Cuenca is listed as number 17 as a medical city internationally. Second was climate is very important to us because we don't want a place which is too hot, too cold, or ever experiences snow. Cuenca fitted the bill. Currency is the US dollar, which makes purchasing easier. There's no difficulty on converting. The cost of living in Ecuador at the moment is rated about 25% lower than the cost in the United States.
There were a lot of reasons for you to go down there. The fact that currency is the same makes things easy. One thing that I know about you speak a bunch of different languages. You spoke Zulu when you worked in South Africa. You learned Afrikaans in school. You spoke English. There's one thing that I've never heard you speak before, and that's Spanish. How did you approach learning Spanish?
I was fortunate that I did Latin in high school and had 4 years of it under my belt. Coming back to think about Spanish, Latin is the root language for Spanish or all the other Romantic languages. It made it easier. Second, find an app which you're comfortable with and practice. Get to know basic words initially so you can communicate. Establish a dictionary for yourself in Spanish.
That's one cultural difference. What are some other cultural differences you've observed?
The lifestyle in Ecuador or Cuenca, where I am now, is very laid back. It is so laid back that you have to establish about an hour window to anticipate somebody either coming to do some work for you or making a delivery. The other thing which Ecuadorians are famous for is being very family oriented. Recently, I went to my dentist and she stopped working on me to speak to her mother. So you can see the influence that Ecuadorian people have and respect they have for their parents. Also important is you have to join expat groups in order for you to understand various things. If you have questions, you can post it online. And the expats are very friendly and useful in terms of guiding you and providing you some kind of direction that makes it easier for you to get to know things or understand things.
You had mentioned that you wish you had known a little bit more about how their laid-back lifestyle made it so that you have to plan accordingly. What are some other things you would wish you'd known beforehand?
Spices are not easily attainable in Cuenca itself. Anybody who doesn't speak the language is behind the 8 ball because you can be taken advantage of because of a lack of language. Electronics are not easily obtainable and they are expensive. Linens, towels, bed sheets, jeans, sneakers are pretty expensive if you want to get name brands.
A little earlier, you had mentioned that the cost of living is about 25% cheaper than in the United States. How did you approach understanding that cost of living?
I was fortunate that I had a relative living in Cuenca, and he helped guide us to the various things that we needed to know and understand. We have about 5 or 6 free markets, which is called the Feria Libre here in Cuenca. These markets charge you 30% less of what you'd get them in the supermarkets.
Were there any frustrations that you've experienced?
Most important thing for me is not keeping appointments on time. However, you have to get used to it and you have to blend in. The term they use here is be calm or tranquilo. People being delayed, you have to be tranquil about it and calm so that you work according to the Ecuadorian lifestyle. The local people take advantage of expats when they see you because of the fact that you don't understand the language, and they jack the prices up considering the weather right now. The infrastructure is not in a level where it can accommodate free passage to and from other cities. You've got to check the climate and weather patterns in order for you to plan journeys to Guayaquil or say Vilcabamba or even Quito for that matter.
That's really useful information. What is the most important piece of advice you would give to someone planning to move to Ecuador?
Make exploratory trips, understand real estate, and by that I mean rent before you buy. Spend blocks of time in various cities so that you decide on the city that suits you. Have a bank account established in the United States, which you could draw money using your credit card. And the documentation that you need for living in Ecuador, make sure that all your T's are crossed and I's are dotted to be ahead of the game rather than be stranded when you get here.
Thanks for taking the time to sit down with us and give us a little insight into what it's like in Ecuador, specifically the UNESCO World Heritage site known as Cuenca. Any last words for our audience?
Make sure that you understand everything that you're trying to accomplish by doing a lot of research. In the future, we will be presenting a podcast called Ecuador Insights to provide information to the viewers out there or anybody contemplating wanting to come to Ecuador.
Welcome to the Nice Table. Today we're going to talk about maximizing effectiveness. On this episode, we have Heybert Flexworthy, and we're going to ask him a few questions.
What's going on, y'all? I'm glad to be at the Nice Table. This is Heybert Flex, Little Meat Poppy. Not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, and I'm ready to go crazy. What's up?
What do you think is the most overlooked aspect of directing that audiences rarely consider?
One thing that a lot of them overlook is the power that a director truly has over that actor's performance and what they are doing in that scene. There's been a few times in my acting career where I did things that doesn't add up in the story. So don't underestimate the power of the director, because they influence way more than what you think.
What are the key elements you focus on during the creation process to increase the likelihood of engaging an audience?
A couple key things that I focus on in that creation process is I always look and see what people are reacting to or talking about these days. Viral topics, things of that nature. And I people watch a lot. So I always go with a lot of relatable topics, a lot of things that people can emotionally grab onto. So within that process, some of those keys are just actually having to go outside and watch people, hear topics and what people are talking about, what they're stuck on, what reason. Then I like to capitalize on those little things and see how I can expand them and put them into the story.
You got to go out and actually listen to hear what people are saying, and that's how you get the bits and pieces and put it down on paper or on your big bulletin board. My next question is, what is the biggest challenge in translating that from paper to the screen?
The key thing from getting it from paper to in front of your faces is resources. A lot of people do not have resources. A lot of times you can write the fireest idea, but you don't have someone with a cannon or a tank or something like that. How much money do you have and who do you know? Networking is such a big thing in this field because you don't know who has who. If you see somebody with something, it requires you to stop and talk to that person and be nice to them immediately. For example, there's this guy driving. He had like 26s on an Impala, but we haven't seen it in a while. I have to stop this person to get their info because we might need to film with that. We need to know as many people with as many resources as possible and as accessible and as cheaply as possible. So resources is the biggest part of getting that from here to there.
You mentioned resources as being the most important thing. What do you think are some of the other factors that have contributed to the success of your most popular content?
It's just really that shock and that emotional value of getting people to talk and engage and not being afraid to look cringe, not being afraid to step out there and try it, because if you blow it, they forget and nobody saw it. But if you get it,
You got to keep people engaged. You want to keep them in tune to what you're doing. That being said, what film director has influenced your style the most and why?
the Russo brothers, they are the directors of Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, and the original Avengers. They are the ones who let me shadow them earlier in my career. I got to work with them on a set of Cherry and just to kind of dig into their minds of how they film, how they shoot things, how background moves. I am a Michael Bay fan. I'm a Ryan Coogler fan. I am a Jordan Peele fan through and through. Do not get it twisted. Russo brothers affected me the most.
With all of your experience and being able to shadow the Russo brothers and having all these people to look up to in the industry, how does your understanding of storytelling influence the effectiveness of your online content?
That writing process and the directing process is two different things. I'm not a writer. I have written, but I've never written features or anything like that. Grabbing you for a 30 seconds to a minute is effortless, but to grab you for that whole thing is different.
You come from this world, so it helps you understand the bigger picture a little bit better. As a creator, where do you see yourself in the industry in the next 5 years?
Every time I put a goal out there and I didn't hit it, it was more damaging than anything. So I stopped putting like goals and fire. Like, oh yeah, 5 years I should be here or there. You know, I'm not thinking about where I'm going to be in 5 years. I would hope in a great place. I stay with great ideas and lucrative ideas. And I have great partners, and I'm always finding more great partners. I think the industry is going to be taken over with AI, and a lot of creative people are not going to have too much of a job. The most creative people in the world are going to be business owners. Damn, that was dark.
It's definitely true, especially with the way AI is going. It just gets smarter and smarter exponentially every day. And you mentioned that the most creative people are going to become business owners. Beyond just views, what do you pay the closest attention to when gauging the effectiveness of your content?
It takes a lot of traveling for me. I love to get out there and see what's happening. There's a lot of people who can fake their numbers, they can fake their streams and everything. But let me tell you something. When we walk out in Times Square and don't nobody know your face, it's a problem. You go into Mardi Gras and can't nobody pick you out. You at South by, can't nobody pick you out. You at Revolt, can't nobody pick you out. It's a problem. To gauge that effectiveness, I'm always going out. I'm checking hashtags to see what they're talking about. If they're talking about my movie, my products, I'm always going to find that feedback and see how often they're seeing it. If Philly is high on my list, I'm going to make sure I go to Philly and go to some of their events, see if I'm getting picked out. When you were watching this, where did you go away? Where did you not want to stay no more? And where can I fix those dead spots on the floor? So if I'm not looking at views, if I want to gauge it, I'm going to make sure we go outside. We're going to do some events. We're going to check those numbers and see if they're standing up.
Where did you lose them and how long they were watching the video, which is important because it does help. So this question is, have you ever had to drastically change your project due to unexpected obstacles?
No, I'm a Virgo through and through. My backup has a backup. We're not playing any games. We're locking things in to make sure it's solid. And I'm checking things out days before we even get there. Unless an actor mama dies, we feel your pain. I'm sorry that happens. Boom. But, you know, we're going to go. I already have somebody learning your lines on the backup. We're not going to play. Life happens too often. If you're prepared, that shouldn't happen in the first place. And if people are excited to work with you, you'd be shocked what they show up through. Make yourself worthy for them to show up.
That's some great advice. And it's really awesome to hear how prepared you are and how prepared you always want to be, because that'll help you avoid a lot of mistakes or things that are unforeseen. What are some of the common mistakes you see content creators make?
If you don't have your own marketing money doing your own thing, then you should be collabing and working with as many people as possible that fits your vibe and fits your niche. So that would be the number one mistake I see them making, is just staying in the house and just being by themselves. So collab, get out there and collab. Stop being antisocial. Go out there and network, talk to other content creators and make it happen, because you're not going to tap into any other markets without it. You need to add other markets to your thing. You have to add other ones to your infinity gauntlet. Get out of that local mindset of trying to make the people around me just laugh and do and whatever and get them to respond, and understand what makes the world tick. We just watched ISO Speed have 200,000 people in China chanting his name in bad English. Like, that's crazy. That is a Cincinnati boy doing that. Get your head out of the local area and start understanding. A lot of people say, man, this my city. Nah, that's the urban experience. You're gonna find out that it's the same way that it was in Cleveland, as the same way as it was in the Bronx, is the same way that it was in New Orleans. And Treme is the same way that it is in Louisville. So get out of the local thoughts, go work with people, stop thinking about your local area, get you the team, work together with people with like-minded goals, build with the people around you. There's a guy in Memphis named Wild Bill. I would rather work with Wild Bill than a lot of the top tier guys you can name. I would rather work with them because we're coming up together. We're going to have our era soon. We're going to have a time where we're dominating. We're going to have our time. We just have to build up. Invest in your own personal marketing and build with those around you. That's what I mean. So when I say don't reach up, stop trying to, because all they see is hands reaching out. That's all they see from their vision. They don't care about who you are. They don't care about what you got. All they care about is if your hand has money in it. That's it. And they'll just snatch that and do you wrong. They're not necessarily grabbing your hand to pull you up. They're just looking to see if there's bread on it. So stop reaching up and reach over and grab a hand and come up together.
With all of that being said, is there any last minute advice that you would offer to content creators before the next time we talk?
Hurry up. AI is coming. Hurry up. The only thing that is going to be almost exclusive to still being creative probably is going to be podcasting. You can't fake this. Nobody is going to want to hear what two robots got to say about our life issues. Use your money, make the sacrifices you can right now. You can get it right back, definitely when you hit. So my advice, last minute advice, would be to hurry up.
There you have it. Jules from Heybert Flexworth. Hurry up. You ain't got much time.
For this edition, we're venturing into the territory of the mind. Our guest today hails from Milwaukee and brings a wealth of experience to the table. A man of many names, but for our purposes here and now, we have with us Tom Cutlery. His passion for meditation, ceremony, and energy healing are just a few of the reasons that we asked him to pull up a seat. Welcome, Tom. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
It's a real pleasure to be here and an honor to be asked. I always really appreciate sharing what I've gained. By profession, I was an educator, public school for 38 years. I was a teacher, principal, curriculum coordinator, program designer. But more importantly, I've been a learner all my life.
Thanks for joining us today, Tom. What specific meditative practices can cultivate self-awareness?
The basics of meditation include breath awareness. We pay attention to the act of breathing. We pay attention to the body as it breathes, and we pay attention to the awareness of whatever's going on in our body. The technique that I teach and practice is body-based and heart-centered, meaning we bring in the very best of ourselves, which is, of course, love and kindness and caring, and we pay attention at all times to what's going on in our body. We set an intention to why we want to go into the meditative state, and we sit still.
You mentioned that your practice is breath awareness, body awareness, and heart awareness. How can that be used to enhance decision making?
The goal is to stay in the meditative state all day long, to maintain a state of balance, clarity. Clarity allows for a very simple way to access whatever is going on in that moment that we need to decide about. And the clarity of mind allows for a quick decision, bringing self-awareness into the decision, really participating and knowing that you're participating in whatever it is you're deciding, as opposed to living from the neck up. We don't intend to transcend the body. We intend to bring transcendence into the body. And that state of transcendence is a state of great knowing and great clarity.
What are the principles that give us the ability to bring these goals to reality?
There are numerous states of mind that allow for the path towards manifestation. They have to intend to reach that goal. It's important to activate intention when moving towards a goal. Belief is another power of the mind, also very powerful. Next, there is the application of willpower. We need to bring our willpower into the pursuit of that goal.
You touched on various states of energy and how to channel energy. Would you be able to give us a strategy for maintaining higher levels of energy?
There's two very important and very simple techniques, and they're tied to a state of mind. The first state of mind is wonder. Stay in the state of wonder. Some people prefer to call it curiosity. It keeps the vibration of the body very high speed, great energy. The second state of mind is the state of gratitude. Being aware of things that keep us alive, things that take care of us, people, conditions, the things that we enjoy, the things that give us pleasure, very much tied to a high vibrational state of being and functioning when we are aware of the things we're grateful for. A person really needs to cultivate that mentality of gratitude for so many little details.
I like that. Wonder and gratitude. I'm always questioning things and wondering what's going on. And it's the little things to be grateful. Waking up in the morning. What is the most common blockage you see preventing people from living more effectively?
What keeps people from living at their best, from high functioning performance, is not knowing better. They don't know the best ways to function. I have pursued the knowledge of how to live the best life as a human being in this 3D realm here on Earth. And the pursuit of knowledge has made all the difference in the world. What holds people back is that they either don't want to learn, they don't want to grow, they think they know enough, they think they know what's best. If everybody pursued better, we'd be moving and grooving and there'd be peace on Earth.
You touched on the blockages and how people could face them. But what I'd like to know is, in times of challenges, how can I be more resilient and more adaptable?
It's important to be positive about facing any challenge, facing any difficulty, believing, the power of belief again, believing you can accomplish it, transcend the difficulty, maintain patience, clear thinking, creativity, and success.
I'm still learning. It's hard. What is the role of mindfulness in enhancing our ability to be present?
Mindfulness is I'm aware of what's happening right here, right now, in the present moment. They're basically the same thing.
You mentioned being present and being in the present moment. That's not always easy for people. People get anxious thinking about the future. People get depressed thinking about the past. Sometimes people have gone through harsh situations. How can we release those past traumas that may be sabotaging our effectiveness?
Know your strengths, know what you're good at, know what your talents are, know what your good qualities are, and live from those. Being present with your strength, being present with your power to be successful, meaning focusing the mind on your goodness, your ability to get things done. That actually allows for what would be called trauma to be ineffective. Cultivate the best part of yourself. Bring that forward.
It's really deep. What is the ultimate measure of life well lived?
I would ask everybody to take a breath on that question. Take a couple breaths, breathe in through your nose. Each person lives according to what they value. And so one person's values might not be another person's values. And so a life well lived in some ways is meeting your values, meeting your goals as was spoken about, but living by your values. In some respects, it's a philosophical question.
Our conversations are always interesting. It's always about energy and frequency. Are there any last words that you'd like to share with our audience?
Always do your best and always expect to learn more and do better. That would be key. Thank you so much.
We came from project living to meeting with execs in Marvel buildings. Discuss checks of more than $1 million. It's a marvelous feeling. Since I was poor, I'ma open more doors for unfortunate children. Way back then, no suede black Timbs, cruising in a Buick. No Maybach Benz, caged black men trying to escape the trap where AIDS and crack is. We did it on our own without a gauge or
I'm coming
Mactin.
from a black community with blacks like you and me. The world does a lot of things bad that you can see. Bad I used to be, I had to do with 3. Glad I bounced back so be all that you could be. Don't get caught head down losing your hopes. Roads is either or, you can't be choosing them both. You do or you don't. It's not our fault the way it's been given. Just make sure you praise the Lord and thank him for living this mission.
I'm young, but I'm smart, I've been weighing out my options. Keep hustling and spit it, keep doing something that's positive. Man, since I was young, I've been doing just the opposite. Been locked up numerous times just being hard-headed. But now I've matured both mentally and physically, and life is only worth, in the essence, what it is worth to me. Survival of the fittest, we fight us to the bone. Deuce 003 nights, we did it on our own.
I did it on my lonesome. My mom's grown sons was raised right to take flight. Like might, but be yourself in this way of life. It can get tripe, stand strong, and you play it right. You got the key to life, so learn it and you can achieve it. You best believe it, baby, know it and you can't perceive it. You really need it, it's the paper that can get you further. Selling drugs, smoking weed, man, don't even bother. Stay on your own is proper.
We ain't had no help and still managed to do it so well. Pushing our CDs every day like it was wholesale. Little kids chanting the name, cause nice stepped the game. Now we bout to blow like braces and chains. Money can change things, but can't change what you came. Kids stay in school and stay away from them lanes. The more you see, the more you know. The more you read, the more you grow. Take it from B.E., the kid that did it on his own. Come on.
Tune into our next episode for cultural differences.
Kiki will be back with her experiences traveling to Tokyo.
Paul and Mena will join us and talk to them about their perspective and cultural differences.
Ty Jackson is going to give us his insight into the world of international distribution.
We're going to have Jamie join us and have her new song, Burn. Can't wait to hear it.